Welcome back to Worldview. We always seem to have my next guest on the show on days of dramatic royal or British government import. Now, his last appearance was as the funeral cortege bearing the body of Baroness Thatcher made its way through the streets of London. And today we record this segment shortly after the Duchess of Cambridge delivered George Alexander Lewis, the third in line to the throne. Malcolm Ginsberg is one of the longest established UK specialist air and business travel journalists. He's editor of Business Travel News, a weekly roundup of everything any business traveler would need at btnews.co.uk. And having just returned from his holiday, I wanted to make sure we got right to him to discuss the Boeing 787-Dreamliner, which is fast becoming somewhat of a nightmare of an airplane. Malcolm Ginsberg, welcome back to Worldview.
Well, I'm pleased to be here. It's still very hot in London, as you can see from my attire.
Bit warm over here in Wales as well, but we do see some moderating. Hopefully, though I'm very grateful we have a summer for once. Malcolm, we've seen this aircraft grounded for 4 months with battery issues, and now the airlines apparently have been paid compensation payouts. The stock of Boeing did very well on financial results posted the other day, but a parked Ethiopian Airways 787 caught fire at Heathrow, shutting that airport for several hours. The question I have to ask is this plane somewhat snake-bit?
I think the plane's very safe. There's never been a plane that's been scrutinised as carefully as this one. As you say, yesterday Boeing announced its results. The shares are standing at a record level. They've got orders for 930 aircraft. It will still soon reach 1,000. 68 have been delivered. Probably about 60 of them are flying. I'd be happy to fly on one.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, because you said there's 900 orders or so in the system. You have to ask, though, how many hits can Boeing take before this costs them with future orders, perhaps, say, to Airbus or to others?
Well, you just have to wait and see. They're always with new aircraft problems. And this is a tremendous technical innovation. We've been used to jet aircraft since the Comet 60 years ago, and there's always been problems. People forget about it. You just get on the aircraft, and that's the end of it. The airlines are happy to fly them. More important, the captains are happy to fly them as well.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, it appears the investigation is focusing on condensation and a pinched wire in the emergency beacon. I read that yesterday. Is that what you're hearing? And how is that investigation proceeding as to what caused that fire?
Well, it's the British authorities that are investigating it, and they are looking into it carefully. And Boeing have suggested that people that have this equipment take it off. We'll just have to see. It is a strange one, and it is rather strange the way the fabric of the aircraft caught fire. It'd be also very interesting to see how quickly it's repaired at Heathrow. It's obviously not flyable at the moment, and it's going to have to go into a British Airways hangar, presumably. So BA is going to learn how to deal with it at the expense of Ethiopian and Boeing.
Now, the Thompson version of the Dreamliner flew over our farmhouse on its way to Cardiff Airport the other day, and I was taken aback by the relative silence of it as it cruised in. Talk about what makes this airline so special for both the passenger and the airlines themselves.
It just shows you the development that's gone on over the last 50 years. If you're old enough, you can remember the old 707s with the black clouds of smoke coming over. I mean, these aircraft are significantly quieter. There's all sorts of figures that have been put around, but there is no question of it. The aviation industry, 1.8% of the environmental impact. I mean, it's tiny. The problem is that the 0% of voices are allowed free television and media, and they're the ones that sell newspapers and TV times. They get the coverage. We don't want it in our backyard. You don't mind it in your backyard in Wales.
Oh, we're speaking with Malcolm Ginsberg. He's editor of Business Travel News here on Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Malcolm, we seem to be finally seeing a solution at least beginning to emerge on paper as to what to do with the overcrowding at Heathrow Airport, one of the world's busiest, but I'm sure many don't realize that there are only 2 very overused runways there, and it now seems unlikely that a 3rd or 4th runway will ever be built, and certainly London Mayor Boris Johnson seemed to get out ahead of his party in the last couple of weeks. Tell us more about the current plans.
Well, frankly, the situation is very serious in one sense, but you're incorrect in another. What is happening is this present government, who reneged, if you like, on the third runway the moment it came into power. It did say that it would do it. We didn't think that the Prime Minister would actually stop the future development of a third runway at Heathrow. What he said is, we're going to put this back to a political grouping, which it is. 18 clever people, none of them associated with aviation, called the Davis Commission or the Airport Commission. This commission will initially report at the end of this year on some new suggestions, but not including a further runway. In 2015, after the British general election, they will then come up with recommendations. That's recommendations, not fact. The truth is that Heathrow is very, very busy, but it is actually coping quite well. We do have a number of other major airports in the London vicinity. Gatwick, which is 35 million, it's a big airport. Stansted, which is half empty. We've got Luton as well, and some smaller airports. So there isn't quite the crisis that people will talk about, but we need to get onto it. And the two main ideas that are coming up is another runway at Heathrow. It's a perfectly good idea, or a runway at Stansted or Gatwick. However, the Mayor of London seems to have got it into his head that we must have development in the east, in the Thames estuary. That will give the same problems of overflying London and cause chaos. I think is probably an exaggeration, but a very, very serious consequences for the economy of West London. I actually don't think that we call it the Boris scheme is going to work, and I think somehow he's going to have to wriggle out of that one.
So, I mean, when he makes the grand pronouncements of a Hong Kong-like structure in the estuary and link it via rail and road to central London, you're seeming to think that that's not going to happen?
I don't think that's going to happen. The situation in Hong Kong was completely different. If you close the only runways in the city, you have no other airport, and you open it somewhere else, 100% everybody's going to move airports. This is not going to happen. The costs are absolutely astronomical, and we have another problem with the rail links in the United Kingdom, and there's more and more controversy going on as to what's going to happen in the future. We're not the continent with large distances. We're relatively short distances, and the other problem, of course, is that everybody wants to fly to London. There are international flights from the provinces, but not many, and they have never worked historically.
Well, as always, Malcolm, fascinating stuff. Thanks again for joining us on the program. Joining us today from London was Malcolm Ginsberg. He's editor of Business Travel News at btnews.co.uk. Do make sure you visit and subscribe to his weekly newsletter. It's an absolute must-read for me every Monday morning. You're watching Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Stay right here.